Have you ever wanted to do something wild? Something so far out of the box that it makes everyone around you ask, have you really thought this through? Why are you doing this? How do you plan on getting it done? Well, I've thought about that a lot over the years, and now I'm planning on doing something that could definitely be described as wild. Now, before I tell you what I'm planning, let me go ahead and give some of the reasons why I think someone could say this idea is crazy, and then I'll go ahead and tell you why I think it's doable. So first off, I have zero experience in what I'm about to do. Secondly, I'm planning to do it in the winter, so cold is definitely going to be a factor. Third, I'm legally blind. I have been slowly losing my vision over the years, and it's gotten to the point where I can't drive, and I have trouble getting a job. There's a lot of reasons why my vision is a factor. And lastly, I am dead broke right now. I have things that I can sell, but that's really it. I don't have a lot going for me in that way. So when it comes to the lack of experience, the reason why I think it's doable is really the same as why I think it's doable despite my lack of vision. And that's just that I will do my research ahead of time. So I'm prepared to accept whatever hardships may come with what I'm doing. As far as dealing with the cold, I am changing my original plan, and so that'll help a lot. But there will still be cold nights, and that's okay. I'll deal with it. Now, as far as being broke, that's part of the reason I'm making this video. I know it's a lot to ask, but I'm actually making this video partly to ask you if you would be willing to help me out financially. Even just a few bucks would be immensely helpful. So what I'm doing is I'm going to move from Minot, North Dakota, all the way down to Miami, Florida. And the way that I'm going to do it is doing what I call trekking. Now, like I said, the weather has caused me to change my original plan. Originally, I wanted to backpack slash hitchhike, which I'm calling trekking, all the way from Minot to Miami. And by my calculations, that was going to be a 2,500 mile trip. Now, with my new plan, I've cut the trekking part down to about 1,000 miles. I'm going to do the first part and the last little bit on a train. The reason I'm doing the first part on a train is to avoid cold weather. The lows are going to be way too low to camp in the north during the time frame that I'm doing this. And that's another reason that this is a crazy idea, is that I'm only giving myself a few weeks here. I plan on being gone by the end of November, and it's currently November 5th. So I'm going to go from Minot to Chicago. There's a train that goes direct. It takes about 18 hours. So if I were to trek that part, it would have taken a couple months, and I'm going to do it in less than a day. Now, I've never spent any time in Chicago. I don't even think I've ever been through there, although I've traveled a lot of the United States. So I want to spend a few days in Chicago if I can. I'm going to stay in a hostel to keep my costs down, but that's my plan. And then from there, there is a train that goes south, but it goes towards New Orleans. And Nashville is one of the stops that I had planned on my original route that I really want to do because it's a city that I love. I've been there a few times, and I really want to go back. So I'm going to go as far south on that train as Memphis, and then from there, it's a little over a 200-mile trek to Nashville, which is east and a little bit north. So if I walk that entire way, then it'll be a little over 2 weeks to get from Memphis to Nashville, and then I'll go south from there. Now, if I end up backpacking the entire way from Memphis to Nashville and then down to Orlando, which is where I plan on catching a train to Miami, it'll take like 4, maybe 5 months, depending on how long I stop in various places and how many stops I make. So that would put me getting into Miami in like April or May. There is a part of me that would really love to do that, the entire bit backpacking on foot. But I would be more than happy to accept rides. So I would really love to meet up with van lifers or maybe RVers or truck drivers. But I really like the van lifestyle. And so if there's any van lifers who see this, who are going to be anywhere in that stretch between Memphis and Orlando, I would love to meet up and maybe catch a ride and do some camping and hiking with you. I want to tell you why I want to do this, and not just the trip, but moving to Miami in the first place. I want to move to Miami because for a long time I've wanted to start my own business. And I think a large part of the reason why I haven't been able to get settled into a career, even though I turned 31 a few days ago, I'm not in a career, is because I really struggle to work for other people. And it's just because I'm that independent. I really think working for myself is going to be my best bet. And so the reason why Miami is because there are a lot of other people that I know of in Miami who are doing this, who are starting their own businesses and, doing their own thing. Now, as far as why I want to get there the way that I do, is really just for the plot. It's just to have an adventure. I feel like in my adult life, I really haven't had much adventure. And so, at least not, my adventure. I've been part of things, but I really want to do this for myself. So now, any reasonable person might be wondering, why do it the way that I'm doing it? Now, obviously I can't drive anymore. There was a time where I could, but driving is no longer an option for me. I could fly, and it's actually fairly reasonably priced. I could sell some of this equipment, pack up a few bags, and I'd be able to take a lot more with me and get there a lot more quickly. But that doesn't really sound like much of an adventure. And I really think that I need a hard reset in life. I feel like I'm starting an entirely new life, definitely a new chapter, but I'm pretty much doing a significant course correction. I am completely changing the course of my life from where it has been to where I want it to go. And I feel like doing this massive, wild adventure is going to be the perfect way to kick that off. Now, I'm going to be making some more videos on this channel. I'm going to upload regularly throughout the trip. Before I leave, I plan on making videos. I plan on talking more about what I'm doing and why and how I plan on doing it. And then I will document the trip as I go. Now, again, I would really appreciate your help. So just subscribe to this channel if you want to follow along, and consider supporting me financially through Venmo. I would really appreciate that. I also plan on having a membership of some sort, whether it's one of those YouTube memberships with the join button down there, or a Patreon page or something like that, where I might provide more exclusive content and maybe even some live streams, Q&As with me as I go. But a lot of what I'm able to do will depend on my access to internet and stuff like that as I go. Whatever you're willing to do to help support me, whether it be subscribing or contributing financially, I greatly appreciate it, and I will see you next time.